This is a waterproofing tutorial. We have a servo. It's a high-tech servo, more expensive servo that we'll be waterproofing today. Now the one thing you'll need is called marine grease. This grease is waterproof, and if you turn it on the back you'll see things like resist salt water. It's non-conductive, which is great for electronics. It's also good for high temperatures because servos can overheat. This grease is also a lubricant, and it resists water. You can get it at any boating store. Now, at the back of the servo, you'll see 4 screws that you need to take off. Now, these screws aren't the highest of quality, meaning that they'll strip if you're not careful. So, make sure you get a good quality screwdriver when you take off these screws. Next thing you want to do is you want to put your finger on this servo horn here and push down, and at the same time lift up this cap. If you don't push down on that part right here, all these gears will just come out and you'll just have a lot of trouble taking those gears out. So here's the inside. Now what happens is water comes in through this hole here, comes in through here, and then it'll seep in through the insides, and then water will slowly seep into the motor there. You want to prevent that. So you get some marine grease and you just want to ooze it around this shaft right here. And this grease is very non-viscous. It flows very well. You don't want viscous grease. This grease will resist the rotation of these gears, which is bad. I need a lot more. Now it's always better to put more than you think you need, because more won't hurt anything. An extra benefit of this grease is it'll also lube up your gears. Don't worry about getting the grease really high up on the shaft. Some servos you may see some holes inside here. If you do see holes or anything, you just want to add in a little more grease. This one doesn't have any holes. Just gonna put a little grease in there anyway, but basically you want to block any area where water could get in. The servo, however, doesn't have any protection around the rim, so I'm just going to add a little around the edges there, so it'll form a good seal when I close it up. Now the first part of the waterproofing is done, so you take the cap, squeeze it back on. There. Now what you'll see is it should ooze out right here. You should see grease ooze out. So if it doesn't ooze out, you need to add more. So I'm going to open it up. And as you can see, after I squeezed it down, there's hardly any there. So we need to add a lot more there. Well, this is good enough. You could also see grease sort of oozing out the edges here. That's what you want. It means you have a good seal. Now then what you do is you turn it around here and you pop the back open there. So these are electronics. Quite often these would be motor drivers or MOSFETs, and they'll tend to heat up, so whatever you put there needs to be conductive to heat. Generally though, if it's underwater, the water will cool down the motor, so it's not too big of a worry. Now sometimes you'll need to add a lot of grease here. For this particular servo, this is probably twice as much grease as I actually need. Also make sure you get a lot right here where the wire is. And also put in grease where the holes are, because water can get in through those holes there. There we go. And put your cap back on. I put too much grease, as you can see, so it's oozing out there. Never mind, if you have lots of grease, just put it on that cap right there on this end. You'll see why in a minute. Just put it all there for now. Now we want to put these screws back on. That would be an O-ring that should have been there. There. So I screwed in the 4 screws. There'll be a little more grease. Just spread it around wherever that you feel that needs some waterproofing. Now for this end again, you want an O-ring. I got this O-ring from McMaster.com. Just slip it on there. So you have your O-ring there. And I also have my servo horn. As you can see, I have holes drilled in already, so I could just take a screw and put the screw in, so I could screw it into a wheel or any other device. I'm not going to do that today. So you put your servo horn on the top, squeeze it down. So you have this nice seal here with the O-ring and the grease. And of course, put your final screw on top. And that is your waterproof servo.